Hi folks, and welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. So in the vise what you see is a March brown wet fly. Now on the face of it this may seem rather simple, but there is a bit of a knack to tying these. So without further ado, let's get into it. The hook in the vise is a Hanak H200 barbless hook. This one's at size 14, it's finished in black nickel and it's on a heavy wire. The thread I'm going to be using today is from Simplify. It's at 12/0 and as you can see it's a wood duck colour. I think it's more a sort of gingery, light brown, Cahill sort of colour, but you know, wood duck. We'll go with that, that's what's on the label. So I've already pre-waxed some of this thread and I want to catch in just a few turns at the front of the fly, and you can already see I've got my wax doing a job adhering the thread to the shank of the hook. Just going to take away the rat's tail there. So I've finished up very short here at the front, and the reason for that is I'm going to use the thread as not only my tag but the rib of the fly. Now the dubbing I'm going to be using, I've got it in this container so you can't really see, but it's basically trout line squirrel dub plus, and what it is squirrel mixed in, dyed various colours and mixed in with UV fibres. Now I've taken this much out and it's far too much. I've probably got enough for 2 flies here, but I'm going to grab a little bit of it and then just dub on very, very loosely my trout line dubbing. Now I want to just move that up my thread, so when I bring the thread up I'm immediately getting, and I think I do need just a tiny little bit more, so I'll just grab a few fibres out the top. I mean, if you were just only tying these flies with this dubbing it would last you a lifetime, but I tie a lot more different styles than this. So I've got my dubbing on. I've probably got too much on, but we'll see. So I'm going to bring that over just at the front of the hook, and then in open kind of turns I'm going to come up the shank with my thread. I'm just taking my time. I want it to be right, and I probably just about got away with that. It's still looking a wee bit bushy for my liking. It may not seem so to you, but I just want it a bit less than that. So I'm going to use my thread now to create a little tag at the end here, not much, and then I'm going to use it to come back up the dubbing as a rib. Now this is the easy part. Now I'm not an expert with wet flies, certainly for the river. If you want to learn more about this, actually a great book is the North Country Spider by Robert Smith, which goes right into the history, and it does show you some helpful hints on how to actually tie some of the flies, which I've had some mixed results with wet flies. I tend to get a lot more offers than hookups, and that's why I like this long point on the 200. So anyway, I've digressed. Let's get back to the fly, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie in an English partridge, kind of brown feather for my hackle. Now the English partridge I'm using, it's from Trout Line. It comes in, you get 50 feathers in a bag and they're all decent. So as you can see, I've already stripped the waste away from the core of mine, and what I'm going to do is catch the tip of the feather with my hackle pliers, and then I'm going to use my thumb and forefinger just to pull that out. And what you end up with is like this sort of Christmas tree effect. Now that's far too long at the top to be catching in to the head of the fly, so I'm just going to trim that back a little. Just try and get these fibres out of the way. So I've waxed my thread here before I bring in my hackle, and I want to get 1, 2, 3 turns. Then the last turn is going to bring it right up to the eye of the hook. Now I'm hoping, because I've waxed the thread, it's going to give me some extra grip on the hackle, and then I can come in with my hackle pliers and start to bring the hackle around. Now I want to separate these feathers as much as possible as I come round, and from where I started the wrap I'm going to come forward towards the eye. Now I'm only going to get a few turns, 2 turns actually in this case. Now some of the North Country spider addicts might be saying, oh, that's far too bushy, and I know my friend Del, who lives up in Cumbria, he's a big fan of the very sparsely tied spider. The jury's out for me. Does it make any difference? It's maybe all in the head, all a confidence thing, but Del swears by it. So what he does is he strips off one side of his hackle feathers, and it's a great technique if you want to get your fly really sparse. So you just take the one side of the hackle. Now I've built a tiny head there. It might look massive on the macro lens that you're watching the video through, but it is very small. I can barely see it. So before I just finish this up, I'm simply going to add the tiniest spot of super glue to the thread. You might be able to see it there, glistening away, and then I can come in with my hackle whip finish tool even. Don't know what day it is today, and then I'll get 1, 2, 3, whip finish that in. And I'm just going to use the tips of my scissors to cut away my thread. Now, I'm not going to do it at the moment, but once I'm convinced the super glue's dried, which is securing my head, I'll come in with my toothbrush and I'll just rough out the feathers. I'm sure that's fine now actually. And there you have a very effective March brown wet fly. So what do you think? Do you prefer the bushy hackle, or do you like to see them a little thinner? Let me know in the comments section below, and I'll see you all in the next one.